So, have you ever been holding a pint of beer and just wondered, how did this get here? Or thought about where your morning porridge actually comes from? Well, today, we're going to follow the incredible path of one of civilization's oldest and, honestly, most important grains. Let's get into the story of barley.
Really think about it for a second. That simple bowl of porridge, that perfect, crisp pint of beer, it doesn't just appear out of thin air. Nope. It's the grand finale of an amazing story. A story of careful, dedicated farming. A real partnership between a person and the land.
And what a journey it is. We're calling it a super grain for a very good reason. We're going to follow its entire 120-day life cycle, from one single tiny seed being pushed into the soil all the way to a massive field of shimmering gold just waiting for the harvest.
So, let's get a proper introduction to the star of our show, Hordeum vulgare L. That's the scientific name for barley. It's actually part of the grass family, believe it or not, and its story starts thousands and thousands of years ago in the Fertile Crescent. This isn't just some random crop, it's one of the originals, a true pillar of civilization.
But those ancient roots, that's just the beginning. So why are we calling it an unsung hero? Well, because it might not get all the spotlight like wheat or corn do, but its ability to do so many different things is, it's just mind-blowing.
When you look at its resume, barley's importance is just staggering. For millions of people, it's a staple food. Think chapati or porridge. Then, of course, it's the absolute soul of beer and whiskey. Can't make them without it. It's also super important as animal feed. But its real heroism goes deeper. This plant is tough. It's a survivor that can handle drought and poor soil conditions where other crops would just give up.
And right here, this is its superpower. In a world where good soil is getting harder to find, barley can tolerate salty soil even better than its famous cousin, wheat. That makes it an absolute champion for farmers who are working with land that's, less than perfect.
All right, so let's put ourselves in the farmer's boots for a minute. If you wanted to grow this heroic grain, what would you actually need? Let's dig into what it takes to build the perfect home for barley to really flourish.
Barley's kind of like that friend who just loves crisp autumn weather. It really prefers things to be cool and dry. For the seeds to sprout, that sweet spot is a cozy 12 to 15 degrees Celsius. And as it grows up, it's happiest between 15 and 20 degrees. The one thing it absolutely can't stand? A surprise frost right when it's flowering. That's when it's most vulnerable.
And when it comes to the soil it lives in, barley isn't too picky. Its dream home is a nice, well-drained, loamy soil. But like we said, it's tough. It can totally handle soils that are a bit salty or alkaline. The one absolute non-negotiable deal breaker, it hates having wet feet. Waterlogged fields are a definite no-go.
Okay, the stage is set. The conditions are perfect. Now, the main event can finally begin. Let's start the clock on that 120-day journey, from a single seed to a field bursting with grain.
You can think of this first step like a painter prepping a canvas. The farmer starts with one deep plowing, then follows up with 2 or 3 passes with a harrow. The whole point is to create this perfect seed bed, fine, firm, and totally free of any weeds that might try to steal resources from our young barley plants.
Now for the seeds themselves. For an irrigated crop, the magic number is right around 100 kilograms of seed per hectare. To give you an idea, that's like spreading 2 big sacks of seed over an area the size of a professional rugby field. It's all about getting that density just right, giving each plant room to grow without wasting an inch of space.
And just like us, these plants need a balanced diet to thrive. So here's the specific recipe for an irrigated barley crop. It's a precise cocktail. 60 kilos of nitrogen to get that lush green growth, 30 of phosphorus for strong roots, and 20 of potassium for overall health. It's basically the perfect power smoothie to kickstart its growth.
Now, barley is pretty efficient with water, but there are a few key moments in its life when getting a drink is absolutely non-negotiable. The first is called the CRI stage. That's when its main root system forms. Next is tillering, when all the new shoots start popping up. And finally, flowering. Nailing the irrigation at these 3 points is the secret to a fantastic harvest.
So, our barley is growing, everything's looking great, but of course, every good story needs some villains, right? Now we get to the part where the farmer has to go on the defensive and protect this precious golden crop from all kinds of threats.
First up in the rogues gallery, weeds. These guys compete for sunlight, water, everything. So the farmer's got a couple of moves. There's the traditional method, one careful session of hand weeding about a month in.
Or there's the modern approach, using a specific herbicide that takes out the weeds without hurting the barley.
Next up, we've got the insect pests. Aphids are like tiny little vampires, literally sucking the sap, the lifeblood, right out of the plant, leaving it weak. And then you've got termites, which launch a sneak attack from underground, going after the root system, which is the plant's lifeline. And then there are the invisible enemies, fungal diseases. Names like loose smut and stripe rest might sound a little weird, but they can be absolutely devastating to a crop. This is where you have to think ahead. The best defense is a good offense. It all starts before the seed is even planted by treating the seeds and picking varieties that are naturally resistant to disease.
After fighting off all those threats, the weeds, the pests, the diseases, all that hard work and constant care finally leads to the best part of the whole story, the harvest.
And there it is. After about 120 days, the journey is complete. The finish line. The farmer knows it's time when the grains feel hard in your hand, and the straw has gone from green to that beautiful, brilliant golden yellow. The entire field is glowing, and it's ready.
So what's the payoff for all that effort? It's all in the yield. A crop that just gets by on rainwater might give you 20 to 25 quintals per hectare. But with that strategic irrigation we talked about, that yield can jump to 30, even 35 quintals. That's a huge difference. It just shows how much that smart water management really truly matters.
So, from a tiny little seed to a golden harvest, that's the story of barley. When you think about its incredible history, its amazing resilience, its ability to thrive with less water and tough soils, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a world facing some serious challenges, could this humble, unsung hero actually be one of the most important crops for our future? That's definitely something to ponder the next time you raise a glass.